Okay, Roger, you're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Live at the Hive. Since the last episode, things have changed just a little bit. Those who watched it may recall that we had a colony that was a little bit on the spiky side. It perhaps didn't come out on the video as spiky, but it was. I have requeened it, and unfortunately, it's something that I'm beginning to get just a little bit in my village now, and I think I've found the answer because I picked up 2 or 3 swarms locally, and they got bright yellow queens, and I think that's a problem. Anyway, since the last episode, we had a nectar dearth for about 7 to 10 days, which was very short compared to what I normally experience. And then all of a sudden the flows come back on, and the bees have gone crazy again. I actually run out of supers twice this year, same as I did a couple of 3 years ago. I've never really done it before. Always had something in stock, but the bees at the moment they're just pouring it in. Now I mentioned the spiky colony. Martina and myself were in Czech a week or so ago. Martina spent 2 weeks there. I only spent a week because that's all the time I had. And we were with a well-respected queen breeder who breeds about 500 queens a year, something like that. And although I took my veil with me, I just did not use it, and neither did Martina. The bees were so gentle, and I think in 2 weeks she got 3 stings, and in 1 week I didn't get one at all. They really were gentle bees. Anyway, that's a little bit about what's happened since. What have we got for you today? Was a couple of things that are probably going to be a bit different than usual. This colony here, the one at the bottom, that went queenless. Probably early May, I should think. And I tried several times to get a queen in there, and they just wouldn't accept it. And they wouldn't really accept a test comb or queen cells or anything like that. But yesterday I happened to pick up a swarm, and that's in the top here. So all I'm going to do is just chuck the swarm in and let them get on with it. Now, if I tell you, don't really need that. If I tell you that what I did, it was a swarm in a very dense conifer. It was only about 4 or 5 foot high, something like that. It was really dense. So what I did was I shook a few bees into the skep and then inverted it over the swarm, and I took the attitude that if the weight of the swarm wasn't going to make it collapse, then if I have a swarm plus a skep, that's not going to collapse either. So I enticed them up in, and they went in within about a quarter of an hour, I suppose. Anyway, I got them home, found the queen, and I put her in a cage with a wire on it. Poked it through the skep, and the reason for that, of course, is so that they don't abscond. Anyway, I brought them home, put them over the top of this hive because I decided on the way home what I was going to do, and I run it like a lot of beekeepers. I just run out of kit. Now this is quite sunny in here. It's a little bit of a sun trap, I suppose. So all I've done really is just put this old roof cover over the top and the brick on the top to shade them. So let's just pitch in and do what I hope is going to be quite an interesting a session for you.
Roger, did you put any old comb in that skep to entice them in, or just?
No. If you've got a new container, then you need, I think, to imprison a swarm for a little while, so it gets you get some wax in there and you get the smell of bees, and then you don't. I find you don't have any trouble after that. So let's give it a crack. And I'm not going to do anything with any scent or anything like that. I'm really hopefully just going to chuck the swarm in. A little bit of smoke for the front, a little bit of smoke for the swarm. So I'm just going to move that to one side. Ah, can you do a close up here, somebody, please? Look what's happened here. The bees have produced wax scales which have gone through the Hessian onto the roof here, look. Now, wax scales, when they're extruded, they're almost clear. They're not wax colour at all. So we won't need that. This colony actually produced 2 supers of honey for the early crop, early extraction. Now I won't bother to go through here. I went through, I think, yesterday or the day before. 24th, whenever that was. Yeah, 24th. And I did find. Oh no, sorry, not this colony. Anyway, what I'm going to do is just put a super over the top of that, empty super, and then I'm going to hopefully put the swarm on the top of that. So I don't know whether you can video inside this Martina. These are pretty yellow bees. Can you see that, Steve? I think he's lost my sound. Steve?
No, we're good, Roger.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. I thought we lost your sound. I can't see in the soil.
Oh, yeah, we can see now. Yeah. They're all moving around inside. Bit of honey,
Okay.
bit of comb. Yeah. Bit of fresh comb there.
Yeah. Normally they, so don't forget this was over 24 hours ago now. And normally if you put a swarm in a skep, the following morning, you've got a piece of comb about the size of your hand. Now, I guess they probably built it bigger than that. They might even have started producing 2 combs.
Yeah, there are 2 combs, yeah.
All right. Okay, let's just have a look. Oh, right, yeah. Now, you can just see the queen cage in there. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to shake that lot in and let them get on with it. So you can have a look in there, Martina. See what I've done. I'll take the piece of comb out. Well, that was, yeah. Of course, what's going to happen here, of course, Steve, is it's going to collapse because that is. Oh, I got nectar in it. Look.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can.
Glistening.
Okay, now normally the queen, I find, lays by the following morning, but of course she can't because she's in the cage here. If I just put that down there, there is a cage queen on the inside. I did clip her a marker. If you don't do that, what often happens is that you open the cage and they take flight. Here we go. Now, can I show you the comb there? This is about the size that I normally see, but of course they've been in here quite a bit longer than usual. Now, I've measured on many occasions the distance between the combs, and they're consistently 36 to 38 millimeters. Yeah, sorry, consistently 36 to 38 millimeters, not the 35 that we're told. Now that's interesting because Hoffman spacing is 35, and what I call English spacing, which is the metal or plastic ends and also castellations, are 38. So I'm just going to bump them bees into there. And I'll release the queen. Oh, look what they've done. They've sealed up the hole in the queen cage.
Wow.
Now, why would they do it? Oh, the side one's okay, look. And the back one's okay. I wonder why they just dumped on the front. You can never, ever work out what bees are trying to achieve, can you? Anyway, here we are. We just open her up. There she is inside. Oh, she's gone now. She's just gone straight down in there. And she was pretty yellow, wasn't she? Anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm just going to let the colony establish, and then what I'll do is I will requeen it. Okay, so
will you requeen this season or next season, Roger? Now?
I think this season, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still early enough. Now I don't know if I can show you any more of this because there's bees on it, and it's very difficult to shake bees off. I could smoke them, I suppose. There we are. Can you see that glistening, Steve?
Yeah, I can see it glistening. A bit of pollen as well, is there?
Yeah. Now I'm okay at the moment because we've got a nectar flow on. So all I'm going to do is put that inside the skep, and then just cover it up. But of course, normally if you've got a nectar dearth, we'd have had a bit of help by now. So if anybody is watching, you need to be aware of what's happening in the in your apiary. Right, so what I'll do is I'll just, sorry, you can see this is live, can't you? Because I'm washing my hands. Of course, it would normally be edited out, wouldn't it? Right, if I can just flick those into the brood chamber, then I'll put super back on. In Sussex, everything's at hand. Right, I think that's good enough. I don't know why, but we've had just a little bit of a flurry lately at Whisper Green with preschool groups wanting to know a little bit about bees and honey. Not too much, but we got a lovely lady in Whisper Green called Judy Knight, and she's done a couple of three lately, and that piece of comb will be absolutely ideal to show children. Of course, they want to pull it around and wreck it, but that doesn't matter too much. They're showing interest in learning. Right. Now, as far as that is concerned, I'm really only interested in it sort of building up for the winter. It's already produced me probably 50 or 60 pound of honey, which isn't great for this year. But bearing in mind it's gone queenless, that's I think going to be quite good. Okay, I will make that up when the time comes. Okay, that's a bit of a bonus for you. Right, now we're going to do some work on this colony here. In fact, we can do quite a lot of work on that colony there.
You got time for a question as you're getting ready, Roger?
Yeah, of course I have. Yeah. Well,
yes.
It depends who it is. Depends who it is.
Well, the questions come in is how can I deal with honey-bound brood boxes, please? Bees are not drawing foundation.
Bees are not, well, bees only draw foundation if they've got a need for the comb and they've got income with which to produce the wax. So that's the way I think I would start. Honey-bound brood combs, right, depends how many colonies you've got. One thing you can do is if you've got a fairly weak colony at this time of year and it's not going to build up to produce honey, what you can do is put a queen excluder on, then a empty brood chamber. Then out of all your other colonies, you can take combs of food, put it in the empty brood box bit by bit, and there's your winter feed, or your emergency feed, or whatever. Because if it's honey bound, then it's going to be sealed. So it's difficult to answer questions like that because, of course, I'm not there and I don't know how many colonies the beekeeper's got. But that's what I do, and I think what I'm going to do here on this colony might sort of partly answer the question. Have you got any more?
No, let's crack on.
Okay. If that wasn't suitable, then let me know. Incidentally, if we come back to here, these bees in the skep, obviously orientated, they're coming back to there. So I guess what will happen is, and we might be able to pick that up later, is they'll find that entrance down there and they'll start fanning, and that will draw these down to there. Anyway, let me tell you about this colony. You can turn that, yeah. Yeah, let me tell you about this colony. It was united last year, and it was on double brood chamber, and things were pretty hectic for me as it was for other beekeepers earlier, and I didn't reduce it to single brood chamber like I prefer. I normally don't like double brood chamber, double brood box, unless it's for a management purpose, such as uniting or queen rearing or something of that nature. So anyway, the queen laid in both, so I sort of let her get on with it. And I don't normally like a double brood box, because the sort of bees I keep, what one might term locally adapted, non-prolific, they will happily survive in a single box summer and winter. The only good thing about double brood box that I've come across is, unless of course you need it for prolific bees, is that you can just lift up the top box, pull it forward or back a little bit, doesn't matter, tip it up, have a look in the gap, and if you see any queen cells there, then obviously give it a check. If there's no queen cells there, you probably won't have any anywhere else, unless of course it's a supersedure. But that's a different matter. And you can put it back together, and 2 or 3 minutes, and you've checked your colony, and you haven't opened it up, you haven't disturbed it or anything of that nature. So so that's the one good thing I think on double brood box. Other than that, I personally don't like them. If I've got an extra brood box, I'd like an extra colony in it. Anyway, if you don't mind, it's ever so hot here, and I'm just going to have a drink of water, if you don't mind. Thank you, Martina. She's obviously watching the video, isn't she? At the moment, if that was 4.5%, that would probably be a bit better, suit me better. Anyway, let's put that there. Anyway, let's talk about this colony. Right, what happened was it. I'll put the sofas on. We had a very early year here, as a lot of people in the south of England had, and then it started putting up swarm cells. So I did the Wakeford, what I call the Wakeford swarm control method, which we have got lined up. So Steve, if you can just put the link up now, please, because I've got it on Dave Cushman's website.
Yeah,
there is all. Yeah, there is also a good flow chart that was designed by Richard Senior, and that gives you the 3 options that you're likely to come across if you see queen cells in your hive, and you just go down one line or go down the appropriate line. Anyway, I did the first round and took the queen cells out. The queen's clicked and marked anyway. I added a super, went back 7 days later, and they still put up queen cells. So out came the queen. And then, to cut a fairly long story short, I left 1 queen cell behind. Never ever leave 2 unless it's a smallish colony, because the chances are they'll swarm on the first one to emerge. So I think I've looked at it once since. Plus, of course, taking the early crop off. So what I'm going to do, or what I'm hoping to do, and my fingers are crossed, and there's a few fingers over there crossed as well, I hope. What I'm going to do is to try and reduce it to one brood box, and then put the, if I've got combs with just brood, if I've got combs with just food, put them above the queen excluder. What I may have to do is go into 1 or 2 of the other colonies to balance it up, so I haven't got much brood above the queen excluder. Worker brood's okay. It's drone brood that is a problem, because of course it can clog up the excluder. So here I go, and I make sure I've got everything I need. as I say, I haven't been in here for a little while, so I could end up with a considerable amount of egg on my face. I hope not. And I've got some couple of strong girls here, and I hope they're going to give me a little bit of hand to get these supers off. If not, then what we do is we'll split a call. Yeah, they're weighty. Don't forget the waggle wedge. I'll tell you what, they're almost full up. Right, so are you okay? I think we'll just put it straight down here. Do you want to? Let's just turn it around like that. Okay, got various bits and pieces here just in case I need them. So, okay, off we go. No, if you go back, Martina. I'll tell you what, Steve, they are absolutely jam-packed full, and they've only done it in a couple of weeks.
I'm not surprised, Roger. Not surprised.
No. Right. Okay. So what I think I'll do here is I'll just have a quick look in this top box, but I'm pretty certain that what we'll have, because of course what happens is in a natural situation is that bees do what's called chimney. So they tend to put the brood up through the middle. So what I'm expecting to find, it may not happen, but what I'm expecting to find is brood on, let's say, 7 combs in the bottom, and the outside one's food, and then perhaps brood in 3 or 4 in the middle, and the outside one's food. That's what I'm hoping to find. So what I'm looking at doing is, if we've got food only combs in the bottom, put them at the top and swap them over for the brood. That's what I'm hoping to do. Let's get the coin excluder off. I don't know why I've still got a waggle wedge in my hand. Oh yes, I do. Yeah, I remember now. Don't ever get my age, because you forget things, and you forget them quite quickly too. I'm just going to put that in there. Now, if you have got 2 boxes, crack them first, so that when you lift up one of the top frames, you don't try and lift up one of the bottom ones. I've got to take all of these out. So I'm going to release them. And I don't know if Martina or Tina can get fairly close to this, but just see how calm these bees are. The way they're coming up tends to suggest that there's quite a lot of honey or nectar in them. So what I'll do is I'll go into this one here, just lift it out of the slot, same with the next, and then we ought to be able to get the next one out. If you do, joggle it around a little bit so you don't roll bees. If it tightens up, then put it back and have another go. Right, what have we got? There's a few eggs in the middle of that. So what I think I'll do with this one. Oh yeah, there's some brood there. Now that will emerge okay. I've no problem with that at all. Now what I'm struggling with is a spare brood chamber. Hang on, I've got a commercial one there. That'll have to do. That will have to do. No, I know what I'll do. I'll take that off. what I'll do is give this a little bit of smoking. Hopefully drive the queen down into the bottom box. Oh, you're running out of smoke. Now, I've just been stung on the hand here, look. Now that sting there, I won't mask it or anything like that. Let's just see if other bees pitch into it. Oh, I'm just going to get some more fuel in the smoker. Yeah, more again, please, Tina. Yeah. That'll do for a bit. There's another hive tool in there. What? Tina, hive tool in there. Right, let's hope that that's driven her down. So I'm now going to lift that up. Put it on that box. And if you've got separate faces of bees open, try and cover them up with something. I don't know why, but what I've noticed over the years is if you've got 2 or 3 faces open, if one gets fired up, they all do. And I don't know why. They can obviously communicate through the air somehow. Right, now this queen isn't clipped and marked. So we've got to try and find her or shake the other lot down into the bottom box. So I'm just going to have a look here, see if we've got any combs of food. Sorry, I was thinking about something else then. And it wasn't the 4.5% ABV either. Right, now that feels pretty heavy. Keep your eyes skinned, Steve, for the queen. She won't be clipped, she won't be marked.
She's unlikely to be on a slab of honey like that, though, isn't she?
Yeah. Look, I don't know where I get things from, but they're Hoffman frames. Probably got it in a job lot somebody's giving away, I think. There's another one. Yeah, they're not really runners. Now, I did give them a fair amount of smoke, hoping to drive the queen down into the bottom box. So that can go upstairs, you see. So if I just rest that on the lugs, that'll tell me that's got to go upstairs. There's brood there, all worker, so that's okay. Queen's laying. Now, as you know, I look for foul brood very early on. That little patch there looks okay for AFB, and there's some unsealed brood just about to be sealed, and that looks okay to me, so I'm not going to bother about any more. Now, any more combs. Now, some people will say, well, that's only a small sample. Yes, it is. But if it was very advanced in here, then I would certainly see it in a few cells there. So there's 2 combs that can go above a queen excluder. There's some more worker brood only, and you can see that what's coming today. Look at all this glistening nectar here. Can you see that, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, and see all the different colours of pollen. Now there's a little patch here with blue pollen. This up here, look, this is much better. Look, and you can see some of the cells. They got multiple colours in. Now, a lot of people will say that bees always put the same type of pollen in a cell. Well, I don't know if you know or not, but there's a book being published, Challenge What You're Told. And in there it mentions that, and it shows a photograph like that. I can't see queen on there, but there's no drone brood in there. So there's 3 frames that I can quite happily put above a queen excluder if I have to. Sorry, 4 because the one outside, look. Who was it said that locally adapted bees don't produce honey? Incidentally, the books will probably tell you that you can get just over £30 of honey in a national super. I've spoken to several people who weighed it and got over 40.
Yeah.
So those 3 are, I think there's £100 of honey there. Now there's another one that could go in. Are you bored yet, Steve?
Not at all. I'm keeping my eye out for this queen, Roger.
Oh, right. Well, okay, then if you do it, it'll save me doing it. Here's another good patch of brood. Look, just touch the bees on their backs. Don't roll them like that, because you'll wish you hadn't done it. Now that all looks pretty good to me. Doesn't look to be anything wrong, so I'm okay with that. And I just wish all beekeeping associations would tell their members or encourage their members to do exactly the same thing. It's always difficult in a double brood box colony to find queens anyway, or I find it is.
Yeah.
Have you noticed anything? There's no drone brood. No drone brood. Plenty of drones here. Have you noticed something else, Steve? This thing's still in my hand, look.
Oh, yeah.
And bees haven't pitched into it.
No.
Now I'm trying to make the best use of the sun I've got. I can.
You're seeing eggs, though, Roger, are you? There's eggs.
Yeah, on the very first frame. I have to say I haven't looked for anything on any other combs because yeah, I've got eggs in there.
Yeah.
Because once I've seen them, there's not much point. we've got to get a bit of a move on because it's the 28th of June and knots are getting in, aren't they? Have you noticed that?
Not yet. We're only a week in.
Yeah, man. Okay. Ah, look at this. Drone cell. I wonder if they're all upstairs because, of course, naturally they normally put the drones on the periphery. Right, okay. I'm just going to give a little bit of smoke on the ends there, not on the bees. Don't think there's any need to. Well, that smoking didn't drive the queen down, or I haven't found her anyway. So all of that really could go above the queen excluder, but I guess the bees have put a lot of honey in there. If you can see it, Steve, there's a bee there with propolis on its hind legs.
Yeah.
That there, have you got that, Martina? I can't keep my finger there because apparently it focuses on my finger rather than the bee. Oh dear, it's looking as if she might be up in the top. Now that's got no brood on at all. So the outside two are food only. I'm just going to have a look at this to see if she's on the outside comb. Just a quick look on the box, nothing there. And there's another one, look. See, this is the beauty of what locally adapted bees. They don't mind putting food in the brood box. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to the other box to have a look at that. Are you okay with that? Will you be able to see?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Difficult to get smoke between my knees when it's like that. Okay, so let's just have a look here. See, we've got, like the bees have propelised it up. Right. Cool. Pinch that one. I'm going to shake all of these into the main. Okay. Now I will repeat that in a nectar dearth, something like this, don't leave combs exposed like this. So if anyone is seeing it, don't just think you can do it every time, because you really need to know what's happening in your area. Okay, I can't see her on that. Of course, it is quite a big colony, isn't it? Virtually no drone brood there. Now they've really stopped early. Cool, look at that nectar dropping out there. Again, you see, there's no drone brood.
Mm.
Now we have got one or two uncapped cells here. Let's just have a look, and perhaps you give us a little bit of a clue. Can you get down and see these, Martina? What's that, Steve? That one and that one and that one.
Can you see pink, purple eye stage pupae in there? Or
yeah, in all three of them.
yeah, so that's uncapping.
Right. So
not
we've
in
got
a straight
one.
line.
Well, we got two. Yeah, two in a straight line there.
Yeah, but not in a not like one after the other in a straight line. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. I was teasing you.
so good. That's what you want to see.
Right, and we got some more here. Yes, there are three in a line there, but there's one missing. There's another one there. There's three there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that some of the other gaps, are they full or are they empty with nectar? Because some of the gaps might be chewed out.
Yeah, they'd have been filled in today, I think, because of nectar in all of them. Right,
Yeah.
now, perhaps you can chip in here and tell people a little bit about what might be going on. You do that, and I'll just carry on. All right.
Well, hopefully what we're seeing is that the bees are starting to manage varroa themselves, and they're doing that by some bees come along and sense that cap cells are infected, that they've got mites in there, and they uncap them. And then if they are found to be infected, other bees will come along and chew out the infected pupae. And so what you should hopefully see if you're looking for a hive that is managing varroa itself is both uncapping, but also pupal exoskeletons on your bottom board where they've chewed them out. And what it does, obviously, is disrupts the mother mite's mating cycles, and she only has 2 or 3 in her lifetime. And so each time they're doing it, they're disturbing the cycle. So you get a very high proportion of infertile mites in the hive and fewer mites anyway, which you should be measuring through a mite drop count. But it does look promising, Roger, I have to say.
Right, the next question is, this queen has changed, and it was a different queen than the mother, than the original one. That's what I mean. So is it the bees themselves that do the work, or is the influence come from the queen?
So the influence comes from the queen.
Right, now as a colony, they're a little bit what I call mobile. They're not runners, and they're not particularly calm on the comb. You haven't found this queen yet, Steve.
No.
That's because you've been rattling on about other things.
It's also a very full hive, Roger. It's a lot of
Cool,
bees.
yeah. You think the problem I got, and I've only got one eye. Don't forget.
True.
Well,
yeah.
1.25. See, I mean, it isn't July yet, and a big colony, and there's hardly any drone brood here. I'm wondering if it was that nectar dearth we had, and the queen just stopped laying. Drones, that is. Because I think this second box here may well have been there in the first place, but of course the empty supers from the first extraction went back. This is going to be a tiny bit of a damp squib if we can't find a queen, but I'll do the best I can. I should have got my divining rods out, shouldn't I? Plenty of drones, look. Yeah, sorry, I didn't say when I spoke about the Wakeford method. I remember though I didn't leave a queen cell from the original queen. I put in one from a batch of queen cells that I think I grafted or cell punched. Got any more questions in there?
Yeah, we've got some more stock stacking up.
They are. No questions about this sting in my hand. It's still there.
No, not about your sting.
Oh.
There's a question about why there's a lack of drone brood, but I don't think we have the answer to that, do we?
No, we don't. Right, okay. Well, most of you are thinking on beekeeping, it's actually on the hoof, isn't it? And I've been wondering what I could do here. And I think because there's no drone brood, I'm just going to put the top box back above the queen excluder. I've shaken the bees off, so there aren't going to be too many drones. So I'm not going to get the excluder clogged up. I could go back through the bottom, but of course there's twice as many bees in there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this lot back. You think what's happening? You've got a very hot day. I don't know what it is. It's probably 25-ish, I should think, something like that. I'm certainly sweating, I can tell you that. I suspect the bees are. We had a Whisper Green meeting on Wednesday evening, and in my group there were only 5 of us. No, 4 of us. Hang on. 1, 2, yeah, 4 of us. One just had a tunic on, that's all. And he's been keeping bees sort of a year or two. There's one beekeeping bee 10 years. He had shorts and he was handling the colony. We had a new beekeeper who's only just started, like a month or so ago, and he just had a veil on with no gloves, and it was me like this, and the bees were absolutely brilliant to handle. In fact, this colony is pretty good too.
Yeah, given how big the colony is, it's exceptional.
Yeah, and I don't know where the sting came from. Of course, it's the same old thing. You never know where it's come from, this hive or not, and might have perhaps pinched it, and it got a bit angry and decided to take a swipe at me.
So, Roger, if she's downstairs, has she got much space to lay down there, or?
No, she hasn't. But there's a lot of nectar there, and yeah, they'll probably move that up. You're always likely to crush bees like this, aren't you? So be very gentle when you're tapping them back. Okay, right, now I'm going to put this lot back in the same order. Yes, I had put them on the ground, and I know some people don't like it, but sorry, I'm in Sussex. And you know what they say about us, we won't be druv.
So there's a question about this manipulation, Roger, as in, could you not have just got 2 queen excluders, put one between the 2 brood and one on top of the broods, and go back a week later and see which box she's in from where the eggs are?
Yes, of course I could have done. Yes, I could have done. But the thing is, you don't know until you actually get in there and find out what you've got.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have had solid food in the top box.
Yeah.
It's changing my mind a bit because of the lack of drone brood. I can now put this straight back, and I'm pretty certain that if I come in another 2 weeks' time, the queen's obviously going to be downstairs now, isn't she? Because I was shaking all the combs. And I know that the queen excluder isn't going to be clogged up.
Yeah.
Now, something I thought somebody might ask a question about was the swarm was disrupted. It's in a different place than they've been used to for 24 hours. So they would have found a new entrance and probably started fanning, and we've got a lot of fanning going on here. So I I would have thought that somebody might have asked a question about bees getting mixed up from 2 different colonies, but at the end of the day, it probably doesn't matter, unless, of course, the swarm was infected with foul brood. But I'll find that out, won't I? Right. So now, how many girls are going to help me put this super back? I'll tell you what, if I get one each side, I can stand and watch, couldn't I? Yeah. You okay, Tina? Yeah, just grab, whoop. Yeah, under there. And keep your eye on the bottom. Yep, keep your eye on the bottom corner, please. You want to put down? Yeah, go on then. We need 2. Martina, can you please? Otherwise, I'm going to have to split them. Yeah, then you've got to stretch over that other. Yeah, but then I can't. Yep, I think so, thank you. Cool. What would the world do without women? We won't be able to keep bees, will we? Now, I know somebody's going to say, well, why don't they split it? Yes, we could have done. Of course, once we got it off the barrow, we realised we had a bit of a problem. Phew. Right, now, what do we do? Well, we're not even into July yet. Looks like another extraction. But having done that, if the weather turns or there's nectar dearth, it's you've still got to do it later on anyway. Difficult to know what to do. As you probably know, I don't do my own extracting these days. And Daisy and Martin, who do, I did speak to them a couple of days ago, and they would rather not put in another extraction. But I've completely run out of supers. I mean, this colony's already produced certainly 2 supers on the early flow. There's got to be £100 of honey in there. Got to be £100 of honey. So it's probably £150 at least. But sorry. Yeah. Martina says I have to make supers, but yeah. I did reduce for a reason. Anyway.
I know you're not the only beekeeper in that situation, Roger. I think a lot of people I've spoken to run out of supers this year. Yeah. It's amazing. Anyway, yeah. Certainly here, I think the oilseed rape went off fairly quickly, and then there was a little bit of a gap, and then all of a sudden the blackberry started. Some people call it bramble, but that started, and then whoosh, it's gone. There's still a lot to come as well. So if you're a jam maker, you're gonna you've got to be in luck this year. It'd turn into wine, I suppose. Well, blackberry wine's good. Yeah. We've got a question kind of related to this anyway. So with the season we're having, when would you anticipate swarming might stop on the south coast? I'm in Dorset. And we've got willow in flower already.
Sorry, what in flower?
Willow herb.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, that'll be, I assume, the rosebud willow herb, I assume.
Yeah.
Although bees do get nectar and pollen from all of them, I think. Right. Yeah. Over the years, what I found is that the earlier the swarming is, the more you get like a second bite. And I suspect, but I don't know, that the colonies were a little bit late building up. They're going to swarm later on rather than earlier. And also some of the early colonies that swarmed, and perhaps some of the early swarms may swarm again. So certainly I've heard of half a dozen in the last 3 or 4 days. Haven't been able to get to all of them. That one there was fairly close. And it was also fairly close to another of our swarm collectors, and he was at work, so I didn't think he'd want to be bothered. Yeah, so I went and got that one, but some of the others I just hadn't been able to because I'm up to my ears in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think certainly in this area things are going to be. There's still going to be activity for another couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, swarming's a strange thing. In this apiary here, 25 years ago now, I suppose, I had around about 20 colonies, and they all had eggs in queen cells at the same time. So they'd all decided within a couple of 3 days that they wanted to swarm. Not one of them did. They all took them down after a week or so. And I don't know what triggered it. I haven't got a clue. But the more you keep bees and the more you observe them, the more you realise that these little things are always there. They're not really in the background. They're just not noticed. Incidentally, something that's not noticed, I've still got this sting in my hand. Have any bees come and pitched into me? Not one. That's the only sting I've got.
Yeah.
So you can it must be at least 20 minutes, I should think, isn't it? At least 20 minutes.
Oh, at least, yeah.
Yeah. So there it is. Right.
Another question.
Oh yeah, carry on. Yep.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one. You had a queenless colony there. In your experience, how long does it take a virgin queen to return from a mating flight? I've heard conflicting information. Books suggest 2 weeks, but others say 6 weeks. Some members of my beekeeping club have missing queens and wondering how long to wait before taking action.
Oh, right. I don't quite get the question. Do they mean when she gets mated from emergence?
Yeah, I think ignore the mating to emergence, but how long before she starts laying, I think the question means, really.
Right. I think that's it's certainly well documented, and I wouldn't disagree with it. Once they emerge, usually about 5 days to sexually mature, and if they can go out and get mated straight away because the weather's like it is now, it's usually about 3 days to come into lay. That gives the sperm time to migrate into the spermatheca. And I think 8 days is the absolute minimum. But in most instances, it's usually 10 to 12.
Yeah.
As you know, I was with Mike Palmer last year. Well, so was Martina and Carl Collier. And he did his queen rearing on a 14-day cycle. And there were larvae, or as Mike called it, I think, jelly, in quite a lot of cells. So that's 14-day cycle. You can knock 4 days off. So that's sort of 9 or 10 days, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But of course, that was in a good climate. I think probably this year, I've had him laying certainly within 10 days, usually 12.
Yeah. It's been a good year for queen mating, hasn't it? I mean,
Oh yeah.
6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Any more questions?
There was one. Yeah, going back to the first manipulation there. We've got a question
What
asking
what
whether,
what what the swarm one?
yeah, the swarm shaking.
Yeah.
Would this manipulation also work with a nucleus that's been in the nuke for about 2 weeks or more?
That has it been in what for 2 weeks?
Been in the nuke. So you've got a nuke with a colony that's presumably been there 2 weeks or more. Don't know whether it's a swarm or not, and you shake them into a queenless colony. So they've established themselves in the nuke, but they're small.
Yeah, don't forget you've got a different situation, haven't you? Because you've got brood involved, and that of course produces a pheromone, which sort of holds the colony together. I don't quite understand the question. Do they mean shaking the or is it the other way around? Shaking bees from the queenless colony into the nuke. Is that what they mean?
Maybe it's not clear.
Right. If you do that, you can do that. But if it's any size, then I would cage the queen for probably 24 hours.
Yeah. Good.
Yep.
Okay, that's the end of our questions.
Okay, well, I think it's getting close to end of battery too. So
yeah, we've been running well over an hour, so it's a good session.
Yep. Okay. Righto then. Well, thanks very much for listening, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.